All right, it is 6:30 and I am going to call the January 21st, 2026 school board meeting to order. Thank you to all who are joining us on this wonderful Wisconsin January evening. This is a regular meeting of the Cedarburg School Board and is a public meeting. Prior notices have been placed in the district and additional copies were forwarded to the city and town of Cedarburg, as well as the news graphic and Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, tonight board member Connie Kincaid is attending virtually via a phone connection. I'm hoping all goes smoothly, but in following with board policy, if technical complications do arise, we're going to continue with the meeting since we do have a quorum and do not want to hold up the meeting for everyone in attendance. Again, hopefully we're not going to experience any difficulties. Also, we will be doing roll call votes, as I feel that will be the best way to capture every board member's votes. So with that, Dr. Clark, do you want to take over for the consent agenda?
Sure. With regards to the consent agenda, board members, I ask that you approve the minutes from the regular board meeting on December 17th, 2025, the budget and finance report, which includes the summary of account, check register, check detail, and credit card transaction reports, and the personnel report. Mr. DeRosa, Director of Human Resources, is here to provide an overview of the personnel report.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. As you prepare to pass the personnel changes, there's a couple of noteworthy items that I would like to mention on here. First is welcoming Erin Horvath as our new Student Services Coordinator. It says Webster on here. Her office will be at Webster, but she'll obviously be servicing all 5 buildings in the district, and we're very excited to have her joining us and fortunate to have her joining us at this juncture in the school year. Her first day is February 4th. I think that's the Monday. And then also for the personnel changes, we have some retirements. And just to say a few words about each one. First, Trin Rigger is retiring after 31 years in the district, who has really been a staple in our early childhood building blocks program, and she will certainly be missed. Number 2, Amy Burns Kahn has been a fixture at Thorson for 19 years. She has taught 2nd grade and 4th grade and is a key member of her team, and she will greatly be missed. And then our last educator, Patty Castell, Fayette teacher. She's had almost every role, been in every building, coached every team in the district, highly decorated with one of her highest honors, earning the National Fayette Teacher of the Year. And so she's finally hanging up the whistle after 36 years in the district. And then last but not least, who probably doesn't want me to say anything, but rounding out almost 20 years in the district is Ann Weaver. Her last day is going to be April 15th. Ann Weaver is our ultimate utility player. You can plug her in anywhere on the field, anywhere in the district. She has a fantastic attitude and just a great person personally, and she will be greatly missed.
Thank you, Tony. I would reiterate all the comments that Tony just mentioned, and obviously Ann is here, and we really appreciate it. I've really appreciated being able to work with Ann for the last 4 years, and so she's still not done. We're going to keep her busy through April, but it is coming. And then for our educator staff, just so individuals know, is we actually do have a retirement breakfast for all of our teachers. We do that the last professional development day during the school year, so that'll be coming in May.
Okay, with that, I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. All right, I have a first and a second. Any discussion? All right, I will take a roll call vote. Dr. Savaji?
Aye.
Mrs. Sharland? Aye. Mrs. Netzel? Aye. Mrs. Strovoff? Aye. Ms. Erickson? Aye. Mr. Demchak?
Aye.
Ms. Kincaid? The motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
All right, we'll jump into the superintendent's reports. This evening, we have 2 items that we would like to report on to the board. The first item is a presentation regarding our Cedarburg High School Youth Apprenticeship Program. CHS Principal Casey Bowe is here to introduce the team.
Thank you, Dr. Clark, and the Board of Education for the opportunity to shine a light on the Youth Apprenticeship Program at Cedarburg High School. And with that, I'd like to introduce Mrs. McNerney, the school coordinator for Youth Apprenticeship.
Thank you, Board, for having us here tonight. Oh, there we go. I jumped ahead a little bit here. All right. I think this was sensitive the last time I was at a meeting, so here we are. All right, for those of you who may not be as familiar with the Youth Apprenticeship Program in the state of Wisconsin, Youth Apprenticeship is a school to work, work-based learning experience for our students. We offer it for students during their junior and senior year. It's only made possible through the collaborative efforts of the Department of Public Instruction, the Public of Workforce Development, our school, business partners, and obviously our students, those who become our apprentices. The goal is really to build a developing opportunity for students to work with their teachers here at school, learning the hands-on skills at school, and then applying them to the job site, that then they are working with a mentor. When they're doing that, they're working on very specific skill sets that are aligned within career pathways that ultimately result in our students earning a competency certification that is an industry recognized certification in their specific pathway. So Youth Apprenticeship offers 16 different programs with all of these pathways. So it's overwhelming at first glance, but when you look at these specific areas, it really hones in on careers that students can get a jump start on. More often than not over the years, we have found several placements and interests in the areas of health science. I'm just going to note that oftentimes our students are getting a CNA and then going into a health science youth apprenticeship. They can also go into a health science youth apprenticeship with a resident aid pathway, which doesn't require that additional certification. So to kind of means that way, in addition to some of those other areas, right now we actually have a couple students in pharmacy, which is really exciting too. Other areas that are pretty common for our students in Cedarburg are manufacturing, IT, that transportation, distribution, logistics, which is a lot of that more automotive. We transition our students from our innovation center space into a lot of these career opportunities out in the field with business partners. So the key requirements for this program are really outlined here. First and foremost, students have to complete an online application, and that application will ask more than what a typical job application involves, because employers want to see what is the goal of a student participating in youth apprenticeship. So the questions are very specific to what experience a student has, what do they want to get out of youth apprenticeship, and then what happens after youth apprenticeship and after high school, those post-secondary plans for them. Students this year also including a resume. That's an add-on that we felt as a consortium was an important piece to send out to employers as well. So with that, all of the application materials go out to employers. They're organized by area, and then it's really up to employers to call and set up interviews, the students to call back and go through that process. But once there is a great partnership, a student is officially hired, the employer, the student, the school, and our consortium sign what we call an educational training agreement form, which is basically putting in writing the commitment to holding that, that ownership on the employer and the student. I mean, we've got a few slides that highlight what that really goes into in detail with, but that ETA is something that is an important part. It's kind of that, I'll say, your contract as a student, but that really is what that means for our students and for us. The requirements for the work component, depending on what level a student is working towards, a level 1 is a 1-year program. 450 hours must be obtained as a minimum. If a student's working on a level 2, then they're looking at the 900 hours over the course of 2 years, with the bulk of their hours really being during the summer, which the date of August 31st is there because our students, when they graduate, if they're continuing to, or if they haven't completed, I should say, their hours and all of the requirements, they do have the opportunity to continue all the way through August 31st after graduating. And oftentimes that's where our students get a lot of their hours because they're also making money as they're going off to post-secondary, their post-secondary plans. Related coursework is another, key component of this, again, with that classroom-based experience matching with what the students are learning or helping to really make that more robust. So students are required to take 2 semesters of a related course. And our counselors are fantastic with trying to find the alignment for our students. Oftentimes our students have also taken related courses, which then gets them interested. And so it's then during their junior, senior year, how can we find a good match to continue their education and their experience in building the skills. The on-the-job learning evaluation is really the skills checklist that the Department of Workforce Development has established for students to basically work on their mastery towards the skills. They're evaluated by the employer on a quarterly basis. And so by the end of their completion, then that's like that final component to earn that actual certification of that occupational proficiency. When you look at historically, over the last few years, obviously our numbers during a certain year there were a little small, but we had a comeback. The level 2 students, those would be our seniors. So during that school year, those would have been the seniors who've been doing the 2-year plan. In the level 1, it includes both juniors and seniors. Sometimes we have juniors who say, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to commit. Maybe I want to do a career internship first. I want to do job shadowing. And then senior year, that's when they commit. And so the level 1 is where they basically complete their work. The students on the side there were the students that were able to join us at the culminating celebration at the end of the year last year to celebrate all of our graduates that were completing the program. So without further ado, we have an apprentice here, and I was going to say, and the mentor, so I'm going to invite them up. There's a unique partnership here. This is Elias Acosta. He is one of our wonderful juniors. He'll talk a little bit about his experience, but he actually had the job with Tyson, and when we had heard about it and communicating with parents, it was, why wouldn't we make this a youth apprenticeship opportunity? So, without further ado, I'll let Elias take over. I'll click for you if you want. You're welcome.
Sorry, my voice is a little parched, but obviously with youth apprenticeship, you have to be committed to it. You can't just willy-nilly it. You have to stick to the tasks you have, and as she talked about, the contract stuff you have to do, because you have to know specific elements of what you're working on and specific attributes that you have to learn. So you really have to keep your mind focused on it, and you really have to focus on your academic career, especially with the classes you're taking. And with the classes I took Small Engines 1 and an architectural something, and then I took a Small Engines 2, and then I'm taking metals this year. And with those, I was able to get my interest in cars, and that's a big reason I started working with him. And then with that, when I started learning about welding with him, I was like, wow, I can make such beautiful stuff with this. And when I started working with him and started getting in contact with the school, they were like, oh, you can do hours for this, you can get a contract, and you can get paid. And with that, I'm being paid $10.99 hours, so it's a nice side hustle. You can obviously keep grinding to it. And with me, I want to pursue it after high school. I would love to go to college or tech school for it. But you have to stay focused on your graduation and your schoolwork, because if you just give up on it, what's the point? You can't get your assignments done, you can't fulfill the hours, and you can't fulfill the requirements that you must have, then there's really no point in it. And it really gives responsibility to the student, because they have to go on their own, they have to talk to the counselors, and they have to talk to the, what would I call the people that, like, I talked to, Mr. Duval, all of them?
The consortium coordinators.
Yeah, the coordinators for all the hours and all the requirements. You have to keep in contact, so it gives you responsibility of going out, talking to employers, talking to people that you need experience with, and being able to write letters and all that. And so it really just makes you have a job before you even outside of high school. It makes you feel the responsibility and maturity of it. And no, good. I just had one more thing to say. All right. And the great part about it is you just enjoy it. You just enjoy the work you get, because I'm working with a great family friend. I love him to death. And you just enjoy having a nice freedom of a job that is yourself and that is your responsibility, because it's all focused on you and only you. There's no one else for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, about all the, I was going to do that for more. Go ahead. Just keep going. Yeah. Okay. But all the stuff I've worked on so far has been, I thought, way out my league and not even close to what I could do. But with Tyson's help, I was able to accomplish way more than I thought I could ever do. I welded my own stand that was able to hold an entire car Beetle engine. I worked on a Cobra. I got to work on a Jaguar. I got to look in parts of cars that I never knew even existed. I got to experience all kinds of little trinkets and all that inside cars. And with that, it comes my own experience of working on my own car. And so all that correlates to real world experience. And with working on all the engines, I just feel like I accomplished so much with helping so much other people and just learning and understanding about how stuff works, how combustion, how rotor just keeps everything moving. And so it really helps students understand the aspects of what keeps society moving. And so, thank you.
So I feel the way that this is good for these kids is they'll get opportunities that they haven't been given. A lot of these kids, they'll work in a restaurant. He does that as well. But fast food, things like that. But these kids that want to get into, say, stuff like I do, would build custom cars, hot rods, things like that. And me growing up, I didn't have the opportunity to be able to do that. I was out of high school when I started getting that opportunity. So being able to get back and let these kids learn about this stuff, I think is great. And go along with his classes that he's taking, I was just down with the moto build program that they're doing, the club. I mentor them as well, built the flat track motorcycle, and now I've got those kids interested in coming and working at the shop as well, because they're seeing, like, we're tearing a motorcycle apart. And the first time, his first probably 2 weeks that he was in the shop this summer, I threw him on a Porsche 356 Speedster that went to Monterey and won the Historics race. He's in there grinding away on it. I know he kept telling me he's going to go and tell all his friends what he got to do over the summer, like work on this, crazy expensive car. But no, I just feel that it gives them an opportunity to do something that they wouldn't normally get. Like walking into a shop and saying, "Hey, can I have a job and work on all these expensive cars?" Most people are going to be like, "No." They're not going to let anybody close to them. But you keep an eye on them and teach them. That's how this craft's going to grow, at least with the stuff that I do. So. Did you put some pictures in there?
I did send pictures. Maybe I did. Sorry. But obviously I talked about the skills and stuff, and with the skills you get a nice aspect of like what you're gonna get into. Because with level 1, it's just certain stuff. What? No, you're all good. With level 1, it's only like a small requirement of what you need to understand and what you need to know. But as you get into level 2, which I would like to pursue, and keep pursuing is it expands, it pretty much doubles of all the stuff you have to learn. So that's going back to the maturity and responsibility is you really have to stick to it. You really have to keep doing it outside of even work. You gotta learn all of it. You gotta maybe even watch videos. That's what I've been doing. I've been watching some videos about it, trying to get some understanding. And with taking the classes here, that's also helping. I'm doing welding level 1 right now, and I plan to do welding level 2 next year. And with that, I learn skills that I might not learn out in the shop. Like in the welding shop, we have CPAC or CPAC machines. And we get all kinds of other like little trinkets that I might not get to work on out at the shop. So with doing correlating work, obviously that's all beneficial with it. And with it, you obviously get credits. So, I mean, it's a class, so I don't know what else you expect. But with the recognition, I think that's the biggest aspect is getting recognized outside of just school with it. Is you can go out to a workplace and be like, hey, I did this, I blah, 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 and hand them this resume that you would not have outside of high school. You would have to go to a 4-year college or maybe even 8-year college just to reach what you did and even get a starting on what you did. So, and obviously getting paid, it's nice. Everyone loves money. No one can hate on it. It's what keeps the world moving. And so, yeah, thank you.
Elias, I would just like to say you are quite industrious. I really appreciate you coming, and I challenge you. It's going to be exciting to see where your industriousness takes you, and that challenge you that one day you mentor a youth apprentice as well.
I love to always come back and help. I love helping the community. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Tyson. I appreciate it.
Elias doesn't mind being on the hot seat.
If you don't have any questions, so, I mean, I'm happy to respond.
I just wanted to say I love hearing from you. I love hearing someone involved in the trades come to present at this meeting, and someone I don't think we've heard many students in that area, so this was great. And I just wanted to applaud you for giving such a nice kind of impromptu description of what you do. A lot of students come and read something, which is great, but I just liked how you were just free flowing, and it was so entertaining and informative. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
I do have a question. Can you talk a little bit about how it fits into your school schedule? Do you need to leave
Yes.
early?
So with it, so far I have my 01 as my study hall, and that goes to 2 normal classes. And then 04 is my work release. So when I leave out of school, I get out around 12:50, depending on how it is, because there's some weird days with how the school schedule is. But I get out 12:50, and then I'm usually in my car on the road about 1. And with that, his shop's out in Slinger, so it's a little bit of a ways, but I'm usually out there at like 1:20 till about 5 to 6, depending on what's happening.
So what was your favorite project so far? Was it the Porsche or was it something else? I know you've done a lot. Yeah, so if you were to pick one.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna list a lot off. We've done yeah. The pantry van definitely is one of my favorites. One of my mom's Ozaki Food Alliance. So I love especially helping there. It's a great job just giving back to the community, especially. But there's definitely that Porsche. But I think my favorite one was either the Beetle or the Jag I worked on, because the Beetle, that one was my first project I did on my own. So I made I sent a picture of it. I wish I sent it in time, but I have a picture of it with the Beetle in the back. It's a blue Beetle. The Beetle engines are in the back. So you have to make a very specific stand for it, because it's a stand-up one, unlike a normal engine stand. Yeah, normal engine stand. And so that was definitely probably one of my favorites, because it was my first own project, and that was such a unique thing to do. And then the second one being the Jag, it was the rear brakes of it, and it was such a difficult challenge. That's probably one of my favorites too. Is it really was such a big challenge. His son was actually out there with me too, so me and him were the ones working on it together, and he was supervising it. And just having to be on our own, try to work on it on our own and solve the problems all on our own is probably what made it my favorite, because it really forced me to think outside the box, think of not just what Ty would do, but what I would do, and put my own knowledge to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
I would say definitely keep a photo resume. Maybe take some videos and things like that.
I do have
too.
some videos of the cars that we worked on running and everything, so
Cool.
if you need me, I would love to just go share it out, email it to you if you would want to look.
I'd definitely like to see the Porsche and the Jag and the Beetle and all of that. I have to say I'm extremely impressed that you know what you want to do and that you're so invested in it, because a lot of students your age are kind of, I don't really know yet, and so the fact that you're taking the initiative to go after what you want, hopefully that's an inspiration for your classmates to see, if he can do it, I can do it too, regardless of if it's in, automotive or something else. That's great. And I hope you're proud of yourself that you are, you're being a role model for your classmates, and that's a big thing too.
Thank you very much. That actually goes back to what she said about taking classes previously. With taking the small engines, that's what got me into the cars, and my parents would talk to me about how Tyson would have a car shop and how I should go work out there in the summer. And with doing that and then seeing him weld is what made my passion really grow. Is like, this is something, I know people just consider it just welding, putting stuff together, but I consider it art, because you can make stuff just alone with it. You can make some beautiful sculpture, or you can just go make and weld a giant crane together that people use to build the skyscrapers up in New York or all kinds of other places. So you're helping build something no matter what with it. Or you're helping at least protect something. You're welding a car together, you're welding barriers, you're welding those coasters that are up in Six Flags. So that's what I think is beautiful about welding, is you're making art. So thank you very much.
Mrs. McNerney, I have a quick question for you. Can you speak on behalf of finding employers? Is that a challenge for the district, or if you just want to speak on that behalf?
Yes. Over the years, we have had students interested in youth apprenticeship, and unfortunately, there aren't enough employers to employ them. And there are a variety of barriers to that. Some of it truly is the adult workforce and the demands of the employers. They're looking for full-time, or they're looking for hours that just don't align for high school age students. It's also pretty competitive. Aurora, Ascension are the two, primary facilities for hospitals and health science. They have age requirements. And so, if they would lift those, that'd be fantastic. I think we'd offer 20 kids to work in those facilities. But we are always looking for employers, and there are specific areas that are more of a challenge. The architecture and design field versus the construction field is more challenging. And when you look at, kind of flip back really quick, as quick as the clicker will move, we'll click back. But we are thankful that the students that are interested in IT, we actually have our 3 students in IT working here in our district. We don't currently have an IT partner outside of our district, but we have a great computer science program. And so, it's just looking at some of those creative opportunities that we can provide within the district too. Looking at manufacturing, there's a plethora of manufacturers out there, and oftentimes they keep their youth apprenticeships or apprenticeship students, and to the point that was made before, like, we do see that as a pretty sustainable field, but STEM is more of a challenge. If students are looking for more of an engineering aspect, there aren't as many high school age placements for students in that field. We're always looking for employers though, so.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, one more quick question. How has the transition been to CISA 1 hosting the consortium? That's a new change for this year, correct?
It is, yep. Okay. And they're learning a lot from what we have done from the Ozaki Youth Apprenticeship Consortium, just in regards to how we have partnered with our community and our business partners. It has been a lot of very face-to-face, hands-on, like the coordinators that Elias was referring to, Mr. Duba. He's working as a consultant really with CISA. just trying to continue to build the partnerships by going to the businesses and having those meetings where some of the work with the coordinators, they're focusing on, south of us. They're trying to grow not just Ozaki County, Milwaukee County, working with Menominee Falls School District. And so we'll get there, I think, in regards to having more students placed, just given the sheer distance that we're going. But I would say overall it's been a positive experience because we've really streamlined some of more of that, the paperwork things and the checklists like that to make it much easier for employers and students. And so
I have a friend that had several kids in auto shop, and they had to do, it was an email, and it would take him half a day to fill out everything. Now the way they've got it, when I do it, I do it in 15 minutes. So it makes it easier on our end. It spends 4 or 5 hours trying to do all the paperwork. You're just losing what you're trying to do, especially being just a small little shop. So they've streamlined that, from at least what I know when my friend has done it at another shop.
Nice.
That it's a lot quicker. He was having to do stuff, I think, every month. And now just the semester, I fill out, and it's real easy. Just go through it. It's basically just check marks. So it speeds it up on our end. It makes it a lot easier.
in that program, it's called Work Hands. I, along with our counselors, have access to it too. So if we go in, we have a real, up to date, here are Elias's hours. He's got the checklist that Tyson has gone through, so then I can see that and talk with him about it, where we didn't have that because it had previously been in hard copy form for the most part. So some, technology upgrades definitely have made the experience even better in regards to the communication amongst all of us. So,
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. The next item is a review of the annual audit report. The report is on your packet. Is in your packet and was reviewed at last week's Personnel and Finance Committee. We will not be reviewing the report this evening, but if you have any questions, please feel free to direct them to Kim Zabel, Director of Business Services. And that's it for the superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. We did not have anyone sign up for public comment. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to speak? All right, well then we'll move into recommendations. Dr. Clark?
All right. Again, Elias, feel free to leave if you want to, but you don't have to. If you want to stay for the whole thing, you certainly can. But all right. This evening we have 6 recommendations for the board. The first recommendation is seeking approval for the 2026-27 open enrollment seat offerings. This recommendation was discussed at the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting and forwarded to the full board for approval. We will be offering 1 regular education open enrollment seat for grades 4K, 1st, 2nd, and 5th. And we will have 7 seats at 10th grade and 0 seats at all other grades for a total of 11 regular education open enrollment seats. We have 0 special education open enrollment seats. All open enrollment applicants who are attending CSD through the 2025-26 school year in grades 4K through 12 will be guaranteed a seat.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the 26-27 open enrollment offerings as presented.
I will second that. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. I guess we're doing this roll call. And so poor Dr. Savaji doesn't have to go first every time. I'm going to rotate it. Keep us awake here. So, I guess we are voting on approving the 26-27 open enrollment offerings as presented. Mrs. Sharland? Aye. Mrs. Netzel?
Aye.
Mrs. Strobel? Aye. Ms. Erickson? Aye. Mr. Demchak?
Aye.
Ms. Kincaid? Aye. Dr. Savaji?
Aye.
The motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
All right, the second recommendation this evening is seeking approval of the district's long-term capital improvement plan. This recommendation was discussed at the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting and forwarded to the full board for approval. In order to use Fund 46 funds for a project must be included in the long-term capital improvement plan.
All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the long-term capital improvement plan as presented.
So moved.
I will second.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? I would just say, as a board member, I really appreciate this Fund 46, that we have this vehicle to deposit funds into that for future capital improvements. I feel it's been very beneficial to our overall budget and maintaining a balanced budget. Any other discussion? All right, we will take a vote on approving the long-term capital improvement plan as presented. Mrs. Netzel? Aye. Mrs. Strobel? Aye. Ms. Erickson? Aye. Mr. Demchak?
Aye.
Ms. Kincaid? Aye. Dr. Savaji?
Aye.
Ms. Shyland? Aye. The vote passes 7-0. Thank you.
All right, the next recommendation is seeking approval from the board to purchase a district van for not more than $61,221. The district did receive 3 quotes, and the purchase price will be included in the 2026-27 buildings and grounds budget. We need board approval at this time so that the van can be ordered and ready for delivery this summer. This recommendation was discussed at the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting and is being forwarded to the full board for approval.
I will entertain a motion to approve the purchase of a district van for not more than $61,221.
I make a motion to approve the purchase of a district van, not to exceed the purchase price of $61,221.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I will just say, Ms. Zabel, thank you for kind of researching, changing course on just automatically leasing these vehicles and figuring out that it may be more beneficial for purchasing this and just continuing with that going forward. Thank you. So with that, I believe I'm going to take a vote to approve the purchase of a district van for not more than $61,221. I am going first this time. Mrs. Strobel, aye. Ms. Erickson, aye. Mr. Demchak,
Aye.
Ms. Kincaid, aye. Dr. Sabaji,
Aye.
Ms. Sharland,
Aye.
Ms. Netzel,
Aye.
the vote passes 7-0. Thank you.
All right, our next recommendation this evening is seeking board approval for the CHS GAP trip to Germany during the summer of 2027. The German-American Partnership Program is a partnership between CHS and a high school in Germany. The two schools provide opportunities for their students to visit the other school on alternate years.
All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the CHS German-American Partnership Program trip to Germany during the summer of 2027.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Let's vote on approving the CHS German-American Partnership Program trip to Germany during this. Oh, I am sorry. Any discussion? I'm moving too fast here. Discussion. All right, let's take a motion or a vote on approving the CHS German-American Partnership Program trip to Germany during the summer of 2027. Ms. Erickson. Aye. Mr. Demchak.
Aye.
Ms. Kincaid. Aye. Dr. Savaji.
Aye.
Mrs. Sharland. Aye. Mrs. Netzel. Aye. Mrs. Strobel. Aye. That vote passes 7-0. Thank you.
All right, the next recommendation is seeking board approval for the CHS Culinary Arts Career Center remodeling project, not to exceed $481,000, with funds coming from anticipated grants, fundraising, or budget reductions. This project was discussed at the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting and is being forwarded to the full board for approval.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the CHS Culinary Arts Career Center remodeling project not to exceed $481,000 with funds coming from anticipated grants, fundraising, or budget reductions?
I will motion to approve the project for the CHS Culinary Arts Career Center, not to exceed $481,000, which will be funded through grants and donations.
Second.
All right, and I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I had a question. Either Dr. Clark or maybe Mr. Bowe, do you have any updates on how the fundraising is going since we last discussed this at committee a couple of weeks ago?
I know we have a new, we have a fundraising website. We're currently at around 223,000 is what I think I remember seeing this morning. We still have some other grants out there that should be coming for approval in the next month or so.
And we discussed this pretty extensively at the PNF committee, but the general expectation is that it's a project that will be funded by donations and fundraising, correct?
That's our goal, yes.
Yeah, I guess, this is a unique vote. I kind of, for lack of better term, it's like the chicken before the egg. I recognize, your work, Casey, on this and the generosity of our community in getting this project going. It's amazing. It's just, struggling as a board member to just blindly approve money that worst case scenario, we won't all collect. So I'm going to ask, I don't know, Dr. Clark or Ms. Bell, if just kind of address worst case scenario, how we would, work within our budget to address this.
Yeah, so again, if we don't raise all of the funds, the district would be responsible for paying for those. We have, both Ms. Abel and I have spent some time talking about where those funds would come from. Certainly have a couple of different areas. One, if there happens to be any of our current budget that isn't spent, we certainly could roll that into Fund 46. We do have our Fund 46 funds that we could go into, and again, that's something that the board would have to approve and do something there. We can certainly put that in that. It's also something where, depending upon how much we needed, we could also look at it next year's, the 26-27 budget. Again, look at an increased budget deposit into Fund 46 to provide for, to cover the costs.
For people who are curious as to why this is being done now, this entire area was neglected during the last referendum. No changes were made, no updates were made, and it is definitely needed if we're going to keep offering the type of programs we have like Safe Surf and other things. Also that in the past the board has approved athletic fields that were not completely fundraised for or had grants for complete funding before those were approved. So definitely if those things can achieve approval prior to having all the funds secured, I think it should be no question that an academic space that's benefiting students would be approved the same way.
And I agree with, we're very proud of our tech ed side of the building. And, it's interesting that the culinary arts room is really almost directly opposite to that. And it is there's definitely disparity between the two when it comes to the tech upgrade. So I would agree with you on that it is something that, was not addressed. And there probably wasn't the money at that time for it in the referendum, so I appreciate that. And once again, the generosity of the community to this has just been amazing so far. And, you have people who've donated a lot of money, and they just can't sit there wondering if this money is going to be spent, because they may want to spend, donate it elsewhere instead of having it tied up for 2 years. So I appreciate that. And even if we do end up, I guess, funding part of it, we're really getting a great upgrade for the amount of money we would potentially, like I said, worst case scenario, have to put into it. So that's my thought. I don't know if there's any further discussion.
Are you going to hear me? Go ahead.
Yes.
I appreciate what you just shared, and I would just echo that principle. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had one clarifying question based on something that was said. So I know that in recent years, the culinary arts department was able to add additional certifications, and they've been able to do that with the existing kitchen room, right? Like culinary room, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like it's gonna be taken away. I'm not saying that this isn't a worthy project. I think it's an excellent project, but I just wanted to clarify that point. Okay, thank you.
And Dr. Bo, what would be the, are people, students very interested in this program? What are you seeing with that, with interest in the program?
There's tremendous interest. I mean, it's the most popular. And 51% of current requests for next year courses are in this program. It's a 2-year program, the Hope-Start aspect of it, which is really the career development end of the culinary program is super strong. The second year, Hope-Start 2, I think we're looking at 10 kids, smaller group for next year, but a 2-year commitment to developing a career plan, it's a big commitment for our kids to make. But I think it's kind of types of programming or why is talking about. These are kids that are serious about going into the culinary or hospitality field as a career. So aspects to these commercial style, the types of environments that they're going to go into in the workplace, I think is super important and valuable. To provide those experiences for our kids.
Any other discussion? All right, with that, I will take a vote on approving the CHS Culinary Arts Career Center remodeling project not to exceed $481,000 with funds coming from anticipated grants, fundraising, or budget reductions. Ms. Erickson? Aye. Mr. Demchak?
Aye.
Ms. Kincaid?
Aye.
Dr. Savaji?
Aye.
Ms. Charland? Mrs. Charland?
Aye.
Mrs. Netzel?
Aye.
Mrs. Strobel is an aye. That vote passes 7-0. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The last recommendation is regarding donations to the district. For this month, we have $2,650 from the Cedarburg Athletic Booster Club to support the girls varsity tennis program. $7,869 from the Greater Milwaukee Foundation Chuck Walter Swim Foundation Fund to support the CHS swim program. $25,000 from Newman Chevrolet to support the Cedarburg High School Culinary Career Center renovation project. And $100,000 from the Hidden Glen and the Lamacchia family to support the Cedarburg High School Culinary Career Center renovation project. If approved, the total donations for January would be $135,519, and the total donations to date for the 25-26 school year would be $583,904.38.
All right, do I have a motion to recommend that the school board approve the donations to support the instructional and programmatic needs of Cedarburg School District?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, we will take a vote on approving the donations to support the instructional and programmatic needs of the Cedarburg School District. Mr. Demchak?
Aye.
Ms. Kincaid?
Aye.
Dr. Savaji?
Aye.
Mrs. Sherland? Aye. Mrs. Netzel?
Aye.
Mrs. Strobel is an aye. Ms. Erickson?
Aye.
That vote passes 7-0. Thank you. All right, it is wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. We have some committee reports. Mrs. Netzel, can you update us on the latest Personnel and Finance Committee meeting?
Sure. So we met on January 7th, and a number of the items on our agenda that night we talked about already tonight. First was the audit review and approval. We had a chance to review the most recent audit from 24-25. The lead auditor was able to join us and walk through the findings and answer questions. And following that review, we approved the audit as presented. We talked about the 26-27 teacher handbook. The district gave an update on the efforts to combine these two different handbooks into one, so that all staff in the district can access one handbook, and this was informational, no vote took place. We also talked about the 2026 summer plan to update the Culinary Arts Center, and we just discussed this and voted on that. We also looked at the 26-27 open enrollment, which we also approved tonight. Next item was the long-term capital improvement plan. Again, we discussed and voted on that tonight. We also looked at the 26-27 budget calendar. We discussed the timeline of the calendar, especially in regards to the review of the budget, the hearing and the adoption of the budget in October. A few calendar scenarios were discussed, and we voted to approve the calendar as presented, which maintains the time between the hearing and the adoption of the budget, allowing for community input. We had an update on the health insurance self-funded program that we have in the district. We heard about how it was going, as well as the savings that the district has seen as a result of being self-funded, which was good to hear. We also talked about the 26-27 budget forecast. This was also informational, and estimates were shared, and we'll continue to get updates on that as we move toward the next budget. The last item was the district van purchase, which we also voted on tonight. Our next meeting date is March 11th.
All right, thank you. Hopefully we'll have warmer weather by then. All right, Mrs. Charlene, can you please provide an update on the latest curriculum committee meeting?
Yes, we met on January 14th and we discussed 3 topics. The first topic is the high school GAP trip, the German-American partnership trip that we approved this evening that will take place in summer of 2027. That takes place after the school year ends, and we discussed, we saw in the presentation that an estimated cost of $3,000 per student, and this is a trip that has been going on for several years now, and we are excited to see that to continue. The next topic was informational. It was an overview of the Summer Academy that takes place every summer at Webster Middle School. We had assistant principals Scott May and Natalie Hahn on hand, and for those unaware, that Academy provides both enrichment classes and academic support classes for students. It's in June and July. There's two-week sessions open to all students and children within the district boundaries, and the registration date is March 25th, 2026. And lastly, we discussed an update on the algebra and geometry pilot that has been going on at both Webster and the high school. And the recommendation from these 2 schools piloting 2 different resources is to purchase 2 different curriculums. So one curriculum would be McGraw-Hill Reveal at the high school for Algebra 1 and Geometry, and then to purchase Savas Algebra at Webster. And the reasoning that they each wanted a different curriculum just had to do with the high school having a block schedule and Webster being a daily class, and also allowing for some additional differentiation for different student needs at the high school that's needed. So a little bit of a unique approach, but this is what they think will work best, and any board members can talk to Allie if they'd like to see materials. We had materials available to take home, and we will be voting on that at the next curriculum committee meeting on February 4th. That's it.
All right, thank you. And as we've stated many times, these the committee meetings are very robust, and the public is always invited to come and attend. With that, I am going to take a motion in a second to adjourn into executive session. The executive session will be to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility pursuant to 19.851C of the Wisconsin statutes. That is, consider administrative contracts, consider the superintendent's mid-year evaluation, consider the superintendent contract. It is anticipated that the board may reconvene into open session and may take action on one or more of the executive session items, and that would be approval of executive session minutes from December 17th, 2025. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We will be taking a roll call vote to move into executive session. I'll start with Ms. Kincaid.
Aye.
Dr. Savaji,
Aye.
Mrs. Charlin. Aye. Mrs. Netzel.
Aye.
Mrs. Strobel. Aye. Ms. Erickson. Aye. Mr. Demchak.
Aye.
And it passes 7-0 to move into executive session. Thank you, everyone. Stay warm.